Hi there. Thanks for tuning in to Make This Happen, where we discuss an idea we've been dying to see come alive. Every week, my friend J.E. and myself, Alex Gonzalez, will bring you a product you never knew you needed. Now let's get started with this happening idea. I'm talking about car camping, Jay. Now, what I mean by car camping is I want this not only to be a cool service for people to travel the United States and stay in a relatively safe area. Now, look, when you go camping, you're on the floor, there's rocks, there's insects, and there's wild animals. Now, car camping, there are some tents that you can set up on the roof of your car, and you can camp there. I want to revolutionize this. I want to have a tent that's exclusively designed to be set up from a car space so that you're raised, you're away from the elements, you're not going to get soaked, but it's still going to be comfortable, and you're going to be safer than you would being on the floor. And I want this to be scalable so that if all you had, like, let's say you're down on your luck, you would still be able to afford a version of this tent so that at the very least, if you're living out of your car because of whatever situation, which is a lot more common than I thought, and a lot more common for people trying to make it in Los Angeles than I ever thought. When I hear stories of old comedians and actors, a lot of them had to live out of their car for some weeks at a time.
Okay, so what's your idea?
My idea
That's what you got, or
okay? So I'll do the specs here. I thought you were going to help me with this, but
well, I don't know where you're going.
I wanted to make it something that attaches to a car, is very easy. It has kind of a universal attachment, and then from there, it has. I think we're going to have to do something where there's a battery, but you can also blow into it. And there's also maybe a solar cell if you want to scale it up. And this can turn on and it inflates a little bit of a bed for you. So that way there's some cushion between you and obviously the car roof. And then on top of that, I want it to blow out so that the sides are canvassed and strong, but the bottom is cushioned and feels good.
So this is specifically for like those rooftop tents, and
yes.
You want to better the rooftop tent.
Yeah, I think, and I also want to make camping easier for anybody to do. Like, let's say you find yourself you're taking a long trip and you find out that you just didn't make the rest area, and now you're out in the middle of nowhere and you don't want to continue driving because it's unsafe. I think this would be the perfect thing to like pop this open, sleep for a couple hours, and then continue on your way.
Okay.
I want it to be accessible to everyone. So, because growing up in the suburbs and seeing people from the city, camping is a little intimidating, and I want it to be easier for everyone.
First things first, what my first idea is you set up the tent on the top of your car. Then, just like a real tent, the four corners, you have to extend out and stake it on the ground so that it doesn't fly away from wind, right?
All right.
The next idea is that this thing, no matter your car dimensions, it has a pretty solid fold out bit, and then like four legs also at each corner, right? Which you also put into the ground, and then it has adjustable things for how tall your car is. And you could buy at different sizes as well, depending on what kind of car you own. And that will give you more space in this tent, right?
Gotcha.
With also support from the ground, so your car isn't literally holding who knows how much this thing's going to weigh, right? Especially if you have pretty solid fold outs to extend it, so it doesn't feel like you're on like floating on air, you know? It's like an actual like
Most definitely, and you're probably gonna want a little mini ladder too.
what I was thinking actually is the entrance is from your car window
Oh,
because you
okay.
were talking about how you want it to be very safe, you know what I mean? So you could just
Yeah.
climb in and out through your window if you ever have to go back into your car. And in the car, I could also imagine that the tent will bring down certain utilities that you also pop into your window, kind of like how ACs kind of work, where you put a pipe into your window. But these is where you put like, I guess, your generator through your window. You could put your, I guess, generator would be a dumb idea because then your car is going to get really hot. But like stuff like a mini fridge, I guess, or like
Yeah, or like a hot plate that you could connect.
yeah,
Small things
exactly.
like
Like in
that.
the and so you would like be traveling between your back seat and your front seat, but you just put down all your chairs and these things stick or yeah, you know what I mean? And then stick these things out the window so you could like use your car in the bottom and then when you want to sleep, you go up and then there's like the bed made there and up there there's also other utilities depending on what stuff you buy for this tent, right? And then it's
Yeah.
all like extent you could extend like if you buy the base tent, it doesn't have anything in there, like no window to tent pipe. I don't know what you want to call it, or like there's
Yeah,
none of that stuff. But it's
no
all
AC, no solar cell.
yeah, but it's all moddable. Like you could buy additions and you could all easily attach. Like the base tent is made to have all these attachments, but it'll work without them. You know what I'm saying?
Got you. Yeah. And I want all this stuff to last a long time and be very cost efficient, where it may so that the base tent wouldn't be too expensive because we're not giving them too much, but we're also giving them a tent that's not going to quit.
Yeah.
It's not going to tear. It's going to be weatherproof to an extent. You're not going to be able to pitch it in a hurricane or anything, but I think we could even do certain measures where we could have color changing material where if it gets too hot to be inside the tent during the day or at night, it could change color, and maybe too cold as well, unless you have certain gear where maybe you would want cold weather gear. We can even color code the cold weather and hot weather gear.
Right. I mean, of,
Where
of
like
course,
let's
it's gonna
say
have
the
like
tent,
it's gonna have like windows with the mesh webbing, so you could let air in and stuff like that. You
yeah,
know. But in terms of protecting from the cold, I mean, it would have to come with like a windbreaker thing that you put on
yeah.
top of it. You know, or not
But that
come with
doesn't.
it, but
But you know how it is when you're camping. Like when it gets too cold and everyone's body warmth inside creates condensation. I almost want that to like have a collection in it so you can use the condensation as normal like water and stuff.
ugh, you're getting
Is it
pretty.
gross?
I mean, that's like very survival esque. I feel like this is it's instead of making it more survivally, I think it's just a good, comfortable tent for your car, so you don't have to be
Yeah.
on the ground. You know what I mean?
So maybe the condensation can drip out somewhere else if you want to, or you can collect it if you're really on the survivor man type of shit.
Yeah. Another idea I had is it could also. I mean, you would also have to have external power, but you could probably do like small power things with the battery of your car. Like it could somehow
Yeah.
connect. Obviously, you're not going to want to do this all night, or
No.
your car's not going to start the next morning.
Correct.
But like if you just really need power, like just light for a second, you could. It just can work off your car's battery, but it's like we would advise obviously just don't leave it on. And that's just to do small stuff. Like maybe you just pitched up, you just finished, and you just want to use the hot plate for like 5 minutes just to cook up like cup noodles or something. You know what I mean? Like something really
Yeah.
easy. And it could come with like a water boiler or something. And then after that, you would detach and then you run off generator energy from there if you need lights or whatever.
Hmm.
But it's not made for like long electrical uses unless you buy the generator for it and then you have to either fill it up with gas or I don't know what kind of solar power you mentioned earlier as well.
Okay, I like that idea. Now, what I want this to be is, you know how everybody has, well, everyone should have like water bottles in their car. They should have maybe some type of tool so that if for some reason they got stuck in their car, they can cut off their seatbelt and, break one of the windows to get out. I want this to be another one of those tools where if someone sees that in your car, they're like, "Oh no matter what, Jay's ready." Like if something happens, if maybe we can't, a car accident happens or we get stranded on the road, we'll still be able to sleep safely at night and then be able to continue on in the morning or look for reception during the day or something like that.
Yeah.
I want it to be part of the emergency preparedness kit.
Also, of course, it's made for the top of your car, but it's safe to assume this also works on the ground as well. It'd just be a big tent
Yeah.
at that point.
Correct. So it could work on the ground and it would work in different spots where you would just get maybe a little bit more elevation if you wanted to.
Oh, like just put on top of like another, like a rock or something.
Correct. Like a rock or a mesa or something of that nature. Maybe you found like a nice clearing. Yep. Now I'm trying to think and I also want it to fold down small so it doesn't take up that much room either. So that way, I know this sounds crazy, but that way, if there's anybody who is on hard times, this tent would help them. And then anybody who just wants like a sample tent to use, they can do it.
Yeah.
Like this isn't going to be everyone's first choice, I don't think, in terms of luxury camping, because there are tents that are way doper where it's almost like I've honestly been in tents where there was a living room and then there was two sides leading to the bedrooms and stuff. Like there's common areas
Yeah.
and you can even shut stuff off. So I don't want to compete with those people because I think they got the game locked. But I think for everyone's first tent, your son gets a car, your daughter gets a car, and you're like, look, here, you need this in your car too, just in case. If you're traveling to college, I want you to have this. That way, if anything happens, you're good.
Right. The problem is I can't see this being a cheap item. I mean, tents, even the crappy tents aren't cheap to begin with,
Yeah, I haven't seen a tent lower than like 80, 90 bucks.
Even that, I would say the cheapest tent I've ever seen is like $120 for like it's 2-person. Like $80 is like a single person, like tiny little tent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing is, the material is going to have to be somewhat weatherproof, very, very light, like super light, and also breathable. And then if you want it to be light, then all the metal bits that are keeping this thing up have to be made of aluminum or another light metal, and those don't run for that cheap either. So I can't see this running anywhere less than like $300, you know what I mean? And then if you start adding attachments on top of that, and I feel like 300 is a little low for what we're going for.
What if the proceeds of the tent, like every 3 tents sold, is a tent donated to someone in need?
We do like the Tom's thing.
Yeah, but we really fucking go through with this.
Yeah,
because with Tom's, everyone loves to take someone down on a pedestal. There was a time where I remember a friend of mine would get shit like, Tom's, he doesn't even really give the shoes away.
Right.
So obviously we would want to give these tents away. I would want it to be for people who are in need. Maybe these would be a little bit more high visibility. Some people might be saying, well, maybe these people shouldn't be setting up tents. Maybe people don't want tent cities. I get that, but they're already happening. So let's make them safer, huh?
Yeah, I get you.
All right. REI, make this happen.
I was like, do you know any camping gear brands? Because I know what they look like. Like there's that green oval with the word that starts with a C and the red letters. I don't know what it's called though.
That's where I'm like, Cabela's? Yeah, so I gotta see. Hold on real
Are
quick.
you looking up tent brands?
No.
Coleman. That's the one I'm familiar with.
Oh yeah, yeah. You see them in the stores.
Yeah.
All right. So Coleman, make this happen. Thanks for listening. If you have any suggestions or products you'd like to see talked about, feel free to write in at @poundgames@gmail.com. We have a Patreon. If you'd like to join that Pound family, come find us at patreon.com/wearenotgamedevs. Patrons receive episodes 2 days early, meaning Make This Happen gets to your ears that much sooner. If you enjoyed our show, take a second to give us a review. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Store, and more. Catch you guys next Sunday with Jay's idea.
The Nintendo Switch.
The Nintendo Switch. Looks like Jay is going to be switching it up. Well, sorta.